Okay, this is the first video on what we talked about in class today. So we'll be talking about 1 and 4 on the front page. You can find the answers to 2 and 5 on Schoology attached to the same post with this, and 3 and 6 are your homework. So let's zoom in on number 1 so we can see it better. All right, so we talked about the fact that we have to use the information that we're given to decide which form of the equation of a line to use and then fill that equation in. So I've been told a point and a slope. So I have my slope here, and we have a point, and we'll call that x1, y1. And so if we have a point and a slope, we need to use point-slope form. We are not allowed to use slope-intercept form unless we have a point that is 0, comma, some number. That's what a point on the y-axis looks like. So I'm going to do y minus y1, m, x minus x1. Then we're going to take and fill in our formula, y minus, x minus, some parentheses. And so then we're going to take and we're going to fill in our point. X goes with x, so we're going to minus x and 1. So x minus x1, x minus 1, and y minus y1, y minus 4. We just use the m that we're given, 1 over 2. And that's it. That is the equation of a line. I would be able to graph that equation. So I can finish there with that problem. All right, let's take a look then at number 4, the other example. Goes through 4 and 5 and 5 and 6. So the way that this will work, I don't have a slope, so I need to find it. I know that the slope of a line between 2 points x1, y1 and x2, y2 is m is our variable for slope, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So we'll just take the points in order. 4, 5 will be x1, y1, 5, 6 will be x2, y2. So I'm going to plug into my formula. 6 minus 5, y2 minus y1, and 5 minus 4, x2 minus x1. 6 minus 5 is 1, 5 minus 4 is also 1, so my slope is m equals 1. Now I have to use my point-slope form again. I know neither 5, 6 nor 4, 5 is a point 0, comma something. So it's not a y-intercept, so I can't use slope-intercept form here. That's not to say I can't write the slope-intercept form afterwards, but I must start with point-slope form. So we'll set that up again. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1, and we'll take out and we'll leave the blanks. Here's the deal. When you do this, point-slope forms use of x1 and y1. Suppose that you have the bare minimum of information, a point and a slope. When you have more than one point, you are more than able to use both points if you wish. So we'll do the first answer with x1, y1, and then I'll show you what the other one would look like. So y minus y1 would be y minus 5, and we found to be 1. X minus x1 would be x minus 4. But I am more than capable of also writing y minus 6 equals 1 times x minus 5 as well. Both of those would work. And if I wanted, let me just check space, I have enough space. If I wanted, I'll just show you, don't need to do this. This is more than fine as an answer, but if I wanted, I could also use this to make slope-intercept form. Here's how that would look. I would distribute the 1 to both the x and the 5 in general, you're going to distribute the slope inside those parentheses. I would get y minus 6 equals x minus 5. Add 6 to each side. In general, you're going to get y by itself. Y equals x plus 1 would be your slope-intercept form. All three of these equations are the same thing. If you graphed each of them, you would be graphing the exact same line. The only difference is one tells you one point, the second one tells you a different point, and the third one tells you the y-intercept. But you'll notice the slope is always 1 in each equation. All right. So actually we have a little bit more time than I thought when making this video, so I'll actually go through the other two real quick. So let's take a look at the number 2. Has slope m equals 2/3 and goes through 612. 612 is the x1, y1. M equals 2/3 is the slope. So I'm just going to write the equation straight in. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1, y minus 12 equals 2/3, x minus 6. And that's the only correct answer. And then number 5, I have to do slope again. So let's say this is x2, y2, and this is x1, y1. I'll actually make that look like a y. All right, so I'm going to do 26 minus 12 over 4 minus 6. 26 minus 12 is 14. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. But I must simplify. I can't leave that. It's negative 7 over 1. And you do need to make sure you keep the negative, even if you just write that as a 7 instead of 7 over 1, because it is negative. And our 2-point slope forms are y minus 26 equals negative 7, x minus 4. And y minus 12 equals negative 7, x minus 6. And then if I wanted, I'll show you again, if I wanted the slope-intercept form, I would distribute my slope. Y minus 12 equals negative 7x plus 42. And then I'm going to add 12 to each side. Y equals negative 7x plus 54 for my slope-intercept form. All right, and then the last two will be your homework, numbers 3 and 6. There is another video out there with the graphing, so we'll go through the odds of the graphing together, and then the evens would be your homework. So, and if you'd prefer just to look at the answers to what we did in class today, maybe you missed something, or you don't want to just keep going through the video every time you want to see it, that is also attached to the Schoology update. Let me know if you have any questions or if these videos aren't working right for some reason.